Alright guys, welcome back. Last time we were working on this little bike here, the yellow Yamaha Jog. Now if you didn't watch it, we ran into a few problems after a few upgrades. And if you want to catch up, click that link up there. It will provide context into what we're about to discuss right here.
If you're a wheelie guy, get yourself one of these bikes. You won't look back. They're like a miniature Prebug.
Alright, so we added a stage 6 variator and a Polini clutch, and the little Jog went from mild to absolutely wild. Now I knew there would be a difference, but I was not expecting such a result. The little bike now wants to lift the front wheel all the time, and I mean absolutely all the time. Some of you are going to say, yeah, but the difference could be down to the weights that I used in the variator. They were 5 grams for reference. But here is the proof. That is the original Yamaha Jog variator, and this is one of those weights. And if we put it on the scale, there you go. That is 5 grams. So I guess if you've ever been a little bit pessimistic about variators and do the aftermarket ones actually work, well, there is your answer. Absolutely, the proof is in the pudding. We went from mild to absolutely bonkers with the stage 6 variator. So with all the improvements that we made, all the fun that it provided, it did actually come with a problem that we experienced at the end of the video. Screaming down the road at high RPMs, when we hit a bump, the bike cut out. So I'll roll the clip and show you that again.
Hopefully holds on. Same spot too.
So initially I thought it was an electrical problem, and I did ask you guys for advice on what you thought the cause might be. So right now we're going to run through some of your advice and see if that is actually what the reason was. First comment, is it running lean? To be honest, I also had that suspicion, so let's find out. So is it running lean? Well, let's inspect the plug. There you go. If it's focusing, it's a nice coffee brown color, which tells me it's right on the money. If anything, might even be a little bit rich, which is perfect for me. So next potential issue is somebody said maybe it had a soft seize. So double check that. We're going to use what's called an endoscope. We're going to stick it down the board just to see if there's any transfer from the piston rings to the cylinder. So let's have a look. Alright, so that's that one done and dusted too. There's zero evidence there of a soft seize. It's all looking pretty good within the cylinder, which I must say is a little bit of a relief. Now the next problem that you guys put up there was possibly the needle seat in the carburetor was lifting. So let's have a look at that one too. So there you go. It is not the needle seat in the carburetor either. But there you go. Thank you guys for all the advice. It has made me stop, sit back, consider it, and at least look. And I gotta say, I actually feel a little bit better about it. Now I did manage to replicate the problem kind of on a nice long straight road without a bump. What I did is I floored it down the road, and once I got to a certain speed I let off, and sure enough the bike stalled again. But this time there was one difference. And that difference is, this time I had fitted a clear float bowl. And what I noticed was the fuel bowl was virtually empty of fuel. Alright, so it's got fuel in it now, it's nice and full as it should be, but when the problem occurred, there was almost no fuel in it. So here is the theory. New variator combo allows the bike to rev way higher than what it ever did before. We're screaming down the road, we're drawing heaps of fuel in, there's a little bit of fuel left in the float bowl, but that bump splashes the fuel around, meaning that there's nothing there to suck but air, and that causes the misfire. So essentially, the lean comment, that's the one that made me think, because it did actually feel like it was running lean. So not lean in the normal way that we identify lean, as in lean that it just simply ran out of fuel. That's how it felt like to me, and that's why I made the comment that it just fell over. So the plan is we're going to try and bypass the petcock. It's a vacuum petcock, and I'm going to go straight from the fuel tank straight to the carburetor to see if we can eliminate this problem.
All right. We've deleted the vacuum petcock, and we've pretty much just straight piped it from the fuel tank down to the carburetor. And the other change that I've made is I've pulled out those 5 gram rollers. We'll now have 6 grammers in it. And it's made a big difference. The bike's nowhere near as angry as it was, and as snappy. It actually feels a little bit more sane and a little bit more rideable, because it was just a little bit too much before. The 6 gram rollers feel a whole lot more tame, but I still think it'd do a wheelie if I really tried. Alright. We're here.
Spoiler alert, we're about to take it on a run, and it would appear that the fueling problems have been resolved. However, all this has been recorded on the Draggy, and after this, I'm going to show you guys the results. Before the CVT modifications, with the modifications and 5 gram rollers, and then again with the 6 gram rollers. The results are absolutely amazing to me, and I think it's worth hanging on for. So let's just go through the run and let's see how the bike is going right now.
Alright, we're ready to go. Let's see if we still have the same problem or if it's been resolved. And it still does a wheelie. We got past the bump. The good news is the bike did not cut out, which is absolutely sensational. So maybe we were right and we were just running out of fuel. But let's try and do that again. Wow, that one felt pretty quick. That one felt quicker than the last one. And again, the bike has not cut out, it is still idling. That is a win. Best of 3, this is the last one. Let's get into it. Dodging that bump. have it. Looks like it was a fueling issue after all. Man, I'm so happy with the way this bike rides. It is so nice. Rides so well. And I think it will still do a wheelie quite easily, to be fair.
So the bike's running really well, I think we can all agree about that, but have we made an improvement over the stock variator? Well, let's put the results up on the screen for us to dissect. On the left, you've got the stock variator, and on the right, you've got the Stage 6 variator with the 5-gram rollers. The big improvement there is the 60-foot time, or the short sprint to 30 kilometers an hour or 18 mile an hour. And it confirms what I thought, with the bike just wanting to wheelie everywhere. Now, let's run the draggy video of the last upgrade with the 6-gram rollers. Let's see what this bike actually does on screen. The 6-gram rollers have made a massive upgrade. With every metric, it's dropping again and again. So the 60-foot time is now down to 2.7. The short sprint is down to 2.07. But the longest sprint, that's almost 2 seconds down over the stock and even over the 5-gram upgrade. That 1/8 mile, again, it's done in 13.3 seconds. This bike absolutely flies now. That is roughly 75 kilometers an hour for those in Aussie land. Now that's all done, what an amazing result this bike. This bike is now fully restored. It is running like an absolute charm. If you go back to the intro of the video, it shows you what the bike was when I first purchased it. An absolute bucket, pretty much ready for the scrap heap. What an amazing transformation this bike has taken place to. So now I'm going to give you some of my final thoughts on these little Yamaha Jogs.
And this little bike absolutely rips. These small frame Yamahas, how good are they? It easily just scoots on with traffic. This bike before was borderline unrideable. It was so snappy, so angry, at least for me, someone that's not comfortable doing wheelies. For you wheelie guys out there though, you would absolutely love this. This setup with the 5-gram rollers, it was just snapping up straight away. If you're a wheelie guy, get yourself one of these bikes. You won't look back. They're like a miniature Prebug.